He asked for ibuprofen. And he just got out of brain surgery. That was, I don't know, that doctor is like really a miracle worker. Unfortunately, our news was really bad. He had glioblastoma, and the doctor had said 6 weeks without treatment, and maybe 6 months, pushing it with treatment. So that was a real blow to our family. Dad, he was just like, did they get it all? And when we said, no, Dad, he goes, well, can I have more surgery? I want him to get it all. Let's, get back in there. So that was pretty amazing and said a lot for the surgeon, because Dad was very nervous about surgery.
Yeah, he had never had anything ever done like that before, and so here he had brain surgery. They debulked the tumors, and he thought, well, that was why I was going into surgery, is it was going to be all removed and we were going to be good and get better. And it was difficult to tell him that, it's not, because he was ready to go back in for round 2. And it wasn't, once we found out what it was not an option.
So Dad was in ICU after his surgery, and our experience was so phenomenal here. When Dad was in the ICU, he had to use the restroom, and it took like an hour for a lift team, I believe, to get him onto a commode, to get somebody up to the floor to get him on a commode. And I remember that being frustrating, but it was really small potatoes for everything else we had experienced. But I do remember being a little bit frustrated about that. So after his visit in ICU, we went back to Larry's floor in neurology, and we had amazing care from nurses. We never pushed the call button. I was trying to think, I think people just came in regularly, and we communicated really well, the people did with us. We knew what was going on. I was being trained to take care of my dad with his diabetes, because he'd be coming home to us. They were setting up for Dad to go to Sutter Rehab.
If I had any questions, I went up to the nurse's station and was always, I wasn't treated as if I was annoying somebody, or that, they were like, what? Sort of thing. It was, it was actually really surprising. It was like, because some of them had known either Sean or Mr. Raymond or whoever, but they, how can we help you? What's what do you need? Sort of thing. And I was just like, wow, this is really cool. I need this, or, he was supposed to have a test done or some blood drawn or whatever. Do you happen to know? Or food. When's this food going to be coming? Kind of thing. But the staff was extremely approachable.
So I remember a physical therapist, and I wish I could remember her name. Phenomenal. She came in, and my dad pulled off his gown and was just rubbing his body because he'd been laying down flat on the bed, and just, really attentive. And everybody always talked to him, made him feel special instead of, talking around him or about him, always addressing him. And I thought that was really important also. And I wish I remembered that physical therapist's name, because I remember her very clearly, how she was with my dad. While my dad was neurology, you'll always be aware that there are deer running in your hallways. Every time somebody would leave the room, watch out for the deer, because that's what he would do when we would leave his house on the roads when you're driving. Watch out for the deer, they're in the hallways. My dad was transferred to Sutter Rehab. Oh my goodness. Oh. If I ever need rehabilitation, I really want to go there. He was there for 2 weeks. We had 3 different therapists working with him. The facility was amazing. Again, my dad never experienced the night terrors, the sundowners. Just completely at peace and happy here and also at Sutter Rehab. So they trained me on assists. I had to do these classes, half-hour classes, so that I could bring him home. Dad was getting stronger. He was doing great. He really was.
The goal was to allow him to be strong enough to go through the treatments, because he wasn't ready to be able to go through the treatments. And so that was the whole point, was to get him out there, get the best rehab we could, and it was working just great.
And then instantly, his left side went. And it was probably a week and a half into rehab, and just moving a fork to his mouth. He couldn't do it. Yeah, his leg, he was walking